Okay, hey, this is a live video. First time that I've ever done a live video, but I just finished watching the Denver Nuggets Clippers game, and I had some thoughts that I wanted to get out there into internet world. Maybe they go into the ether. I don't know, but so I've got a few things here that I want to go over. First off, okay, Denver beat the Clippers 104-89. They came back from that 3-1 deficit, second time in a row that they've done that because they did it with Utah in the last series. But 104-89, they outscored. Math isn't my strong suit, but Denver got in the second half like 50 points in the second half, and Clippers got 33 points in the second half. So obviously, Michael Malone was able to make those halftime adjustments. Doc Rivers, for whatever reason, was not able to. Did not help that Kawhi and Paul George shot 10 for 38 from the field. Come on. 10 for 38. Pandemic P was in full force in this game. Look at the roster of the Clippers. And I think it was Mark Jackson who mentioned it on TV. They don't have a point guard. You can't have Kawhi Leonard running point and scoring all the points and being the man too. He can't be initiating the offense and doing everything else, especially when Paul George completely poops the bed. There's just no excuse for it. 2 for 11 from 3-point range for Paul George, 2 for 7 from 3-point range for Kawhi. Only 24 points total between the two of them. Whereas, gosh, look at the stat line from Jokic. 16 points, 13 assists, 22 rebounds, 3 blocks, 2 steals. Come on. I'm so excited to see a Jokic versus Anthony Davis Western Conference Finals. My arm was getting tired. Had to switch arms here. But Jamal Murray, another amazing game. 40 points. Wow. So good. What is going to happen with Doc Rivers? That's a big question for me because not only were his in-game adjustments terrible, as we saw from the second half, but he played Montrezl Harrell far too long. He played Lou Williams far too long. They were just ineffective for much of this series. Harrell did have 20 points this game. Lou Williams, though, 3 for 11, 7 points, just did not get the job done by any means. Marcus Morris, really subpar game for him as well, only 7 points. And I'm going to look at kind of what I see for the Clippers and for the next season in the future as well in just a second. But do you pull the plug on Doc Rivers? Because there's rumors that Tyronn Lue and Sam Cassell, that they're going to be out the door with different coaching jobs too. Head coaching jobs for Houston, Philly, perhaps. So if Doc Rivers is going to have to get a whole new staff, are they just going to get rid of Doc Rivers? Is Steve Ballmer just going to say, okay, let's start over from square one here? A lot of that is going to depend on Paul George and Kawhi, what they want. You know, of course, Paul George and Doc Rivers, they kind of have some bad blood history already due to Paul George and that relationship with Doc Rivers' daughter. This isn't TMZ, though. I'm not going to get into all that. You can look that up online. But, I mean, it also just goes to show how good Toronto could. If Kawhi had stayed in Toronto, could they have won a championship again this year? I think it's definitely possible. I mean, especially the way that they took it to Boston and almost came so close with Boston. If they'd had Paul George, man. Maybe Pascal could have not had so much pressure on him. I mean, that's one of those what-if type scenarios. And you got to think, is Kawhi wondering, or is he thinking, oh, I should have stayed with Toronto? So what if it's cold? Maybe I could have won another championship. Who knows? But I tend to think Doc Rivers will be back. I don't think they're just going to completely change course because look at what they have for next year, because they're still going to have Kawhi and they're still going to have Paul George for next season at roughly about $35 million each for each guy. Marcus Morris expiring. You'll still have Pat Bev. You'll still have Lou Williams making $8 million, which is a steal for him, even though he didn't do so well this game. You still got Zubats, Harrell. He's a free agent. I figure he'll be gone somewhere. Rodney McGruder, you have at $5 million. Wow. Okay, just he is robbing a bank basically. Jermichael Green, he's got that player option at $5 million. He'll probably opt into that. And then you still have Landry Shamet's on his rookie deal. Kabengele, he's still on his rookie deal. And then you've got Terrence Mann, who is on his rookie deal as well. Everybody else is expiring. Those Joakim Noah minutes did not help you too much, did they, Clippers? Sorry to say. But before I let you go, let's revisit this Paul George trade. Because you'll recall it was back, in July when he was traded from Oklahoma City to the Clippers for SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari, who is expiring for the Thunder now, and I expect will sign elsewhere. But then look at all these picks. Are you ready? Miami Heat 2021 unprotected first round. Clippers 2022 unprotected first round. Miami Heat 2023 protected. Right to swap in 2023. Clippers 2024 unprotected. Right to swap in 2025. Clippers 2026 unprotected. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks with some level of swapping or protection. So 7 picks, SGA and Danilo Gallinari. That's the trade that you got for a guy who just scored 10 points in a game 7 and looked completely lost out there and looked like he wanted to be anywhere else except on a basketball court. That's what you traded for, and Clippers, that is what you're stuck with for another season at $35 million. They're gonna have some room to sign a couple more players next year, but this is already a bad free agent class. They're gonna have to do some major changes, major renovations in the offseason. That's all I got for now. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm gonna have a video previewing the Western Conference Finals of LA and the Nuggets. Hopefully sometime before Friday, on Friday, or hopefully sometime before Friday. So make sure you check that out. Also, like the channel, subscribe to the channel. Helps out the channel a ton. Going for 10,000 subs by the time we get to the end of the year. I think we can do it because we're at 6,500 now. So I think we can do it. Okay, thanks very much. Thanks very much, buddy. This is Troy, and I'll talk to you next time. First live video. How do you turn this thing off?